The Australian Television Network and associated stations presents The Bert Newton Show.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Good on You Too. It's nice to have you here for a very, very special show today because, as you would realise, today is the first day that this Bert Newton show goes for 90 minutes, 1 hour and a half, which is good. Terrific, terrific. And they said it wouldn't last. Not only is it going to last, it's going to last longer. An hour and a half every day. Had a super weekend. I went skiing over the week. Well, I didn't actually go skiing. I went to the snow over the weekend, and my wife and my children went skiing. And I've had a most unusual experience. I'm not too sure whether I should tell you about it now, or maybe I'll wait for Jeannie Little to come out, and I'll tell her, because you may think it's a gag, but it's not. It's something which is very, very serious, and, well, serious to me anyway, and I think you might find it semi-fascinating. Hope you find the show... My God. Will I wait for them to get dressed, or... We've got this amazing sight at centre stage. No wonder the crew is so excited today. Well, certain members of the crew are very excited today. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My God. To John Michael Housen, that's smorgasbord. We open our show today with the ever-loving Delilah, who's wearing a... I can't cope. I have now seen... You're going to see all this in just a few seconds. I've gone past the things in the front, and if you'll pardon the expression, and now I see Delilah, who's almost wearing a miniskirt. And the song is called All of Me, and I tell you what, it ain't half true. Here's Delilah.
All of me, why not take all of me? Can't you see that I'm no good without you? Take these arms, I'll never use them. Go on, take these lips, I'll never use them. 'Cause your goodbye left me with eyes that cry. How can I go on without you? You took the part that was my heart, so why not take all of me? Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Oh, yeah. Take these arms, I'll never use them, baby. Oh, yes. Take these lips. Oh, yeah. Your goodbye left me with eyes that cry. How can I go on without you? You took the part that was my heart. Oh, so why not take all of me? Ouch. So why not? So why not take all of me?
Yes. Delilah opened the show today. I don't know where the blokes... I have no idea where the blokes came from. Gillian, we didn't just go out the street and pick them up, because I mean, they're so professional and so... Where are you from, blokes? All over the place. Any particular spot?
Muscle World.
Where's it from?
Muscle World Gym, Paran.
Muscle World Gym in Paran. So if you want to get there and look like those blokes, all you have to, if you're like me and there's a certain amount of neglect about you, just go along to Muscle World in Paran and you can look like that. And if you particularly want to, there's a special course there. You can come out looking like Delilah. if you... Delilah, come over and let me see all of you. Hiya, darling. Good to see you. What you doing? Sit there. Just sit down there. Yeah, it's good to have you on the show. Bruce Ruxton, unfortunately, couldn't make it today.
Really?
Your old lover boy. But you might like to stay there because our next guest is a special friend of all of us. We've had over the years lots and lots of people who've made it big on television for all sorts of reasons. But this lady really came out of left field some years ago, and I'm pleased to say now that she's a regular member of our company. And today she's going to talk about the fact that today, actually today, the 17th, is the 30th anniversary of a special doll. We've had Kewpie dolls and we've had rag dolls and Cabbage Patches, but of course the queen of them all is Barbie, who's 30 years old today. Please welcome Jeannie Little. Just
Look at all this hair.
Wouldn't you kill for it?
Darling, I've always hated Bert. I've always hated Barbie, really, Bert, because she's got two things I've never had, and that's hair and boobs.
30 years old today, the old Barbie.
Well, darling, if Barbie's admitting to 30, I'll never get away with 39 again. Honestly, I can't believe it.
I don't want to be paid for today's show because just sitting here with this company, I mean, who'd want to be paid to come in and work with lovely people like Delilah? And you know each other, of course, don't you?
Very good friends,
darling,
yes.
we're almost falling over each other in Paddington.
Yeah.
Pardon, what do you mean?
We go to the same pub sometimes.
really?
Yeah, we get our boots from the
Speak for
same.
yourself, darling.
Mention the pub because I don't mind you giving a free commercial because I want to mention the ski lodge a little
The
later in the
Wallara
show.
Hotel is where, you know.
What's it called?
Wallara Hotel.
Wallara Hotel. You both, I
They're
didn't
very
realise.
nice. I'm always having dinner parties
Yeah.
and I pop in for
Yeah, I pop in all the
my
time for
wine.
my wine, for my roast.
I see. What about Barbie? Tell us something about Barbie.
Darling, Barbie
Jeannie.
is absolutely wonderful. I was fascinated to read, darling, that but since Barbie's birth at the New York Toy World 30 years ago, darling, over 500 million Barbies have been sold.
That's a lot of Barbies,
Isn't that a lot, darling? And I mean, 13 million of those were sold in Australia alone. So I think I bought 1 million of those because Katie owns 8 Barbies, and every time it was a girlfriend's or a little friend's birthday, she'd say, "Mummy, Danielle hasn't got Barbie's pony or this or that," and so I was always out of pocket.
Why did Barbie take on more so than other dolls that I mentioned before?
Actually, Bert, before then there were only sort of little, you know, baby sort of dolls, and it was the first teenage doll, and they say that it was fashioned out of cardboard books, you know, those sort of cut-out grown-up dolls, you know, and they'd put crinolines on them, and they could draw exotic outfits and everything, and actually, darling, it's a bit like Dynasty, I suppose, for tots and teens, and actually, I think Barbie really is a fantastic thing because every little tiny kid, and I suppose you know from your little ones, wants to be grown up. They're all dying to be older. I mean, we're dying to be younger, and darling heavens, they all want to be grown up. Darling, stop laughing.
I think there's something beautiful, though, about seeing that special joy of nursing a baby and going around. I mean, I hope that it continues forever at home because it's just a joyous feeling for me,
So,
too.
darling, are you having more?
No. I'm just thinking if Patty ever gave away her dolls, I'd be most disappointed. Can I tell you something? This is what I wanted to mention to you. I've only told one person before I came on the show today, and I thought you might be intrigued with this. I'll make it very, very short. And it's not a gag, but something quite unusual has happened in the Newton household. Now, I do state right from the kick-off that there's no tag here, there's no payoff, and it's not a joke. We were away for 3 days at the snow over the weekend. Went away on Friday afternoon, came back late last night. And an intriguing thing has happened at home. Nobody was in our house for the weekend. We had security, but no one actually went into the house. And in our ensuite, a little ensuite that we have in our bedroom, there is a religious statue that I've had there for many, many years that is never touched. It's not touched, number one, because it's inaccessible, and number two, there's no reason to touch it. Patty might dust around it or whatever. This morning when we woke up, the statue has turned. Now,
Bert.
the person I told before the show said, "Oh, yes, but there'd be a reason the kids would touch it or whatever." the kids would never go near... Yeah, but it's interesting. I mean, of course, there has got to be a logical explanation for
No,
it.
there doesn't. I believe in everything spiritual.
Yeah.
I really do, don't
I do now, I can tell you that.
I do. And so, Bert, I feel as though it's saying, Bert, you've made it, everything's going to happen from now on.
But
and it's
you don't understand. No, the statue was turned to the wall. That's what really worried. Or 45 degrees.
Well,
Isn't that intriguing,
a couple of weeks ago, I left here. I went home, and I had to do a concert that night. And I came back, and my door had been broken into, and I had 2 statues that were absolutely cheap, but I loved them.
They were taken.
And they took those, so I don't know. Good luck to you out there. I'm going to get more.
Yeah, well, and good luck to you up there. Thank you for turning the statue over the weekend.
Oh, Bert,
Incidentally, I might mention to you, as of next Thursday, our house is going to be a shrine. If you'd like to come in, it's going to be $35 per hip. True story. What about the male friend of Barbie? What's his name? Ken?
But listen, I feel as though I know that you compare most of the Logie shows, darling, and you do it really, really well. Well, I do feel as though, darling, I've got a whole new look for you. I mean, Ken is really so outrageous, darling. He's the wildest sort of doll I've ever seen. And actually, I haven't got a photo of him just yet, but I'll show you one to you later.
Is that Ken?
There he is, darling. I couldn't find him. Now, darling.
Oh, look at
one of those.
Look what they've got. How dare you.
Darling, that is very suspect, Bert.
Oh, yes.
Yes, actually, I see lots of people walking down Oxford Street, Paddington, like this every week.
Yeah, me too.
Truly,
I don't want to get on to myself, but can I just see that shot again?
Isn't it wonderful?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Bert, for heaven's sakes, imagine a Bert doll, a Bert and Patty doll.
Yeah, well, just see if you can do that, Tony, and just see the difference. One head's bigger, unfortunately, I think it's mine.
Oh, Bert, oh, Bert, that's absolutely eerie.
Yes,
Speaking
it was.
of miracles,
Yes,
darling.
yeah, speaking of miracles. What about Barbie? Is there a future for the Barbie doll, do you think, Jenny?
Definitely don't. And speaking of the past, if anyone's got an original Barbie, the original one from 1959 is worth about $2,000. So have a look in the attic. But, darling, I do think that Barbie is fantastic. Actually, there's a whole parade of special clothes that have been designed by 20 Australian designers and the international collection too. And they're all going right around Australia at the moment at all the shopping centres. So, darling, truly and honestly, Barbie is here to stay forever and ever, I'm sure.
Everyone loves Barbie.
This is Barbie Superstar. It's absolutely marvellous. All the accessories. Barbie has brought out for the Superstar range the new fabulous Ferrari.
Look
Isn't
at that. How much is that
absolutely-
worth?
A knockout. I don't know prices. I just write a cheque. It's really incredible, though. But actually, they are very expensive. And darling, this Barbie Beach Blast, Barbie, her hair turns pink in the sun. Can you believe it? So, darling, for Sydney, they'll have to invent one that turns green in the rain.
Well, happy birthday to Barbie. I'd like you two ladies, if you would, to stay around for our next segment because it's a mini serious segment, but I think you might be interested in what the lady has to say. And I'm sure my producer is very proud of me because I actually did the segment, Barbie's birthday. We didn't sing happy birthday once.
We promised we
and didn't
won't,
even give
darling.
Barbie a cake.
Oh,
yes,
Barbie's
we have.
got a
You'll get me
new
killed.
snack,
Happy
which is
birthday,
so
Barbie.
Australian.
Jeannie Little, ladies and gentlemen, and after the... Yeah, let's hear it for Jeannie, please.
Throw another prawn on the Barbie.
Well, on the Barbie, and after this break we talk about women and alcohol. We'll see you soon. And our first commercial for most stations taking our program today is, of course, from our very good friends and sponsors, the people who make this program possible, Jenny Craig. And here's John D.
Thank you, Bert, and I'd like you to meet Narelle Connor, who is a lady who looks just like a Barbie doll. She's lost so much weight. How much weight have you lost?
About 20 kilos, John.
How long ago was that?
That was about 9 months.
And we've got a photo. Oh, there you are. That was you then. How long ago was that?
That was 1 year ago.
Well, you've obviously kept your weight stable. How have you managed to just keep your weight off all that time?
Well, John, simply through moderation, I'd say. Still going out, having a good time.
Moderation,
But
that's
moderation
the key, isn't
is
it?
the key word.
Moderation
Yes,
in
it is.
everything.
Yes, definitely.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations to you. There's a lot of people at home sitting thinking, how can I lose weight? It's probably all right for Narelle, but how can I lose weight? I've
Well-
tried everything else.
Right. Well, with the person-to-person counselling and the lifestyle sessions given to you once a week, I found it really easy. The food's already packaged for you. I found it a breeze, actually.
Well, congratulations. I guess if you can do it, anyone can do it, right?
Thank you. Yes, definitely. for
Absolutely.
sure.
John, can I interrupt just 1 second?
Yes,
sorry.
sir.
Hello, how do you do?
Hello,
You look
how
absolutely
are you?
wonderful.
Thank you.
I met
Narelle,
somebody...
Bert, sorry.
Narelle, how do you do?
Hello,
Nice to
Bert.
meet you. I met someone over the weekend at Mount Buller who was on the Jenny Craig diet, and I spent an hour with this lady, and she was absolutely... She should be here doing the commercial because she raved about Jenny Craig. So I was lucky enough on the weekend to meet someone who really knows that it works.
How
It does
big
work,
was
doesn't
she?
it? Oh, she was very lovely, about 23, 24 years of age.
Oh,
and
stone.
No, 22 or 23 years of age. So there you are, and lovely to meet you, Narelle.
Thank
All
you,
the best,
Bert.
John. See you around.
Thanks, Bert. Yes,
Bye.
and if you'd like to slim down like Narelle has, then you should give Jenny Craig Weight Loss Centre a call right now. For a limited time only, you can lose all the weight you want for just $185 on the Jenny Craig Calorie Controlled Weight Loss Program. At Jenny Craig, you lose weight and learn what you need to know to keep it off permanently. So call the Jenny Craig Weight Loss Centre nearest you for this very special offer. Do it today, and you could look as good as Narelle Connor. Thanks, Narelle.
Welcome back, as you see already, on set, as it were, Delilah and Jeannie Little. Alcoholism is a major problem in our society, we all realise that, and for women, it's an increasing one. And that's why Women for Sobriety was formed. And from that group, please welcome Joyce. For some reason, just talking about Women for Sobriety and looking at Jeannie there, dressed as she is, it looks like some sort of alcoholic nightmare, doesn't it? Not Jeannie herself, but just her gear.
DT's in person, darling.
Joyce, why Women for Sobriety and not AA?
Well, I can only speak for myself. Years ago, I got my sobriety through another organisation, and Women for Sobriety came through an American lady, a Dr. Jean Kirkpatrick, who also got her sobriety through another organisation, and then realised that there were women out there that we need a group for women. There are certain needs that women require. And so she came up with Women for Sobriety, and it is for women and alone. We're not anti-men or anything like that, and we don't, the name sometimes gives the impression that, that we go out with a banner. We're not against drink at all, but we know that there is a need there for women.
Okay, incidentally, if Don Chipp is watching, Don has just started a new radio program in Melbourne, 3AK, and I was on it this morning by phone, and he was asking who was on the show today, and I mentioned Delilah and Jeannie and lots of other people, and yourself, and I got the name of the organisation wrong. For some stupid reason, I said Women for Alcoholics. And not really, I said that. And Don said, what do you mean? You have a woman instead of having a drink. And so if you're watching, Don, it's Women for Sobriety. Tell us your story.
Well, my story was that I was a lady. I am a non-practising alcoholic. And I was a lady that I didn't drink daily or anything. And I used to use alcohol. At first, it was like a friend. I'd have a drink and I would think, I'll relax, and I used to relax a lot. And then all of a sudden I got this need that I on certain days I wanted to drink, and I wanted to drink more than I should.
What, drink to oblivion?
No, I never passed out or anything like that, but I drank to a stage where I could become aggressive. I became a person that used the phone. I'd ring up my friends, and and I could handle anyone's problems except my own.
Do you have a family?
Yes, I have. I've got a grown-up family. I've also got a younger son. I've got a boy 34, a daughter 30, and a 17-year-old son.
So what time frame are we talking of? How long ago is it since you became dry?
Well, I haven't had a drink for over 7 years. Mm-hmm. And that to me has just been a wonderful experience, because...
What about your husband?
My husband is a social drinker, and he still has a drink. I have alcohol in my home. I'm one of the lucky ones. I've never took alcohol out of my home because it was I who chose not to drink. Mm-hmm. Not my husband or my friends.
Joyce, are there special problems about a female alcoholic that aren't suffered by males?
Yes, because I think, we have a lot of roles to play as women. We're the mother, we're the sister, we're the daughter, we're the wife, and we have a lot of things in our life, and we become, we're we become that we're rushing along and we want to fill all these roles, and we're so busy looking after our families and other people, we forget about ourselves.
I think there's another consideration too, and that is you see a guy who's obviously a little plastered, and you say, oh, there's old Bill, and having a ball again. Oh, isn't he great fun? You see a woman that way, and you say, isn't that disgraceful?
Yes, if the lady falls down because she's had too much to drink, I mean, they say, oh my God, poor Bill, look what he has to put up with. Bill falls down and they say...
Good old Bill.
Yes, he's had a lovely time, Bill's been out and enjoying himself.
I've seen Bill like this before, type thing.
That's right,
yeah.
we'll take Bill home and throw him back home, to the wife. And also, women have different problems, of course, and I can mention them here, but, we have... women suffer with like PMT, menopausal problems. We have women that have been physically and verbally abused by males. So some women do not want to go into a mixed group in the beginning. After a while, they're quite, they will go to other groups. But in the beginning, they're frightened, they're scared.
Jeannie, in show business, it's always, of course, it's always the temptation.
Definitely don't. Actually, Bert, my father was an alcoholic, and I was the youngest of 7 children, so after the family were all, badly treated, my mother just left him and brought us up alone. And so she wouldn't ever allow cigarettes or alcohol in the house, ever. So when I was about 15, I used to go to parties and take a bottle of gin and drink the lot because I thought this is being wicked and sinful and all stuff like that. So at every party I used to fall over and never know how it ended or how I got home. And one day, luckily, even silly old me said to myself, you stupid thing, now wake up yourself and have a nice time and find out what happens to the rest of the party. and actually, that's always in my head though, darling, that I could be an alcoholic. I think, if anything happened to Barry and Katie, I would probably sort of, drink or something, and I just think I mustn't, and I'm very strong-willed, so wherever I go I just have 2 drinks and that's all I'm allowed.
You had something you want to say, Joyce?
Yeah, no, I just thought, I just think it's great that, Jeannie spoke like that, and, and it's strange, but when things happen in your life, when you're sober and you haven't been drinking, you don't pick up a drink. I had, I've mentioned it, I suppose, I had a radical mastectomy, and I'd been sober about 12 or 18 months, but I didn't drink, I didn't drink, and as I said, I just don't.
That's self-esteem.
And, we get sober for ourselves. I never got sober for my husband or my children. I got sober for me.
And they, of course, then benefit, don't they?
Of course they do, of course.
Joyce, anyone watching the show today who feels they've got a problem, Women for Sobriety, how can they be contacted?
They can contact us. We do have an office in Ferntree Gully Road in Glen Waverley, and the phone number is 562... 0523, and there's 2 ladies there at the moment. There's Mary.
Is it nationwide, by the way?
And we do have a group in Adelaide and in Brisbane, and the numbers there are...
Nothing in Sydney? Don't worry about the numbers.
No,
nothing in Sydney?
No, nothing in Sydney.
That means to say that there are no women in Sydney who drink too much?
Of course there will be, yes.
If you contact the Bert Newton Show, we can pass on all the relevant information about Women for Sobriety.
And, excuse me, if you don't mind me saying, it's not the quantity that we drink. It's what it does to us. You don't have to be a lady that drinks, a cask of wine or a bottle of whiskey a day. If you are drinking and it's costing you more than money...
Do something about it. Yes, certainly.
A few years ago, actually.
This is like therapy, darling.
I'm having a good listen myself.
Until about 3 years ago, I actually had to come out of myself and actually get mad at myself. If I could have came out of myself and punched myself, I actually would have done that. And that's when my whole life changed and I became very spiritual. But before that time, I think I was sort of searching for love and acceptance, especially in this profession that I'm in. At the moment, everything's happening. It's wonderful. But at that time, I used to drink 1 ice cube, a double scotch, lots of water. And I used to tell people off, and I used to do this, and I used to do that. And
you make a wonderful television producer.
But actually, I think at that time when I first arrived here in Australia, I was sort of looking for it being accepted. I used to go into dressing rooms and the whole place becomes silent. And I used to think, what have I done? What's happening? So I'd go out and drink, and I'd stay at home and drink. I wouldn't get up in the morning and drink, but it was getting to that point every time I got depressed or upset or it's down to feeling insecure and not confident. And I would drink. I mean, I was drinking so much that I was scared to light a match. I thought I was going to explode. And that's when I thought, that's it, you know?
Yeah, a performing friend of mine who's a member of Alcoholics Anonymous and has been dry now for a long time, he said once that he believed that alcohol was his best friend, and the greatest tragedy in his life became the greatest awareness in his life when his best friend turned on him.
That's exactly right. That's what happened.
Lovely to meet you, Joyce, and
Thank you
good
very
luck.
much.
And anyone who wants more information on women for sobriety, just please write to the show and we'll pass it on. We're back with you after this break, and Chris White is going to sing for us. Today, our thoughts are especially with one of our regulars on the show, the Reverend John Smith. He's one of our family here, and right now he's in the Philippines awaiting a court hearing. His crime, we're told, was to take photographs of a military demolishing a peasant village. And he and another gentleman, Reverend Martin Newman, were arrested, but they're now on bail. Reverend John will be joining us on our show as soon as he's able to return to Australia. We were going to do a satellite with him, but his people felt that it would have been quite dangerous for him, and it may not have improved his situation over there. So our thoughts are with the Reverend John Smith. Chris White is with us today. He's a boy who's done a couple of spots on our show, and we've always enjoyed having him here, and the reaction has always been terrific. Breaking Up is Hard to Do is the song. Here's Chris White.
Tell me that you're leaving, can't believe it true. Girl, there ain't no living without you. Don't take your love away from me. Please don't leave my heart in misery. If you go, I'll be blue, 'cause breaking up is hard to do. Remember when I held you tight, whispered sweet nothings all through the night. Oh baby, let's start anew, 'cause breaking up is hard to do. They say that breaking up is hard to do. How I know this is true. And you said this is the end. And instead of breaking up, I wish that we were making up again. Breaking up is hard to do. Breaking up is so very hard to do.
Lovely Chris White. We'll take a break now, and after this break we're going to talk about zombies and no clever remarks. We'll see you then. go, you know. Do your time and a half, Peter? Do your time and a half for working the extra 30 minutes? No? Oh, well. It's a good feeling, though, isn't it? I mean, you really feel as if you, when you've got the hour and a half, you can just relax a little bit and, you know, take a bit more... You can't? No? Keep going? OK, right. At the moment, one of the most popular movies on video is this one. It's called The Serpent and the Rainbow. And the movie is all about zombies, which we sometimes refer to as the living dead. You've seen quite a few of us on television. Well, according to my next guest, zombies really do exist, and science has discovered how a person can be made into a zombie. To find out about this extraordinary phenomenon, would you please welcome our regular underwater expert, Reg Lipson. For a start, people who are tuned to the show for the first time would say underwater expert, and they would expect you to come out in a tank or something. Right. And also, what's the history of zombies and underwater? How does that come into the picture?
Well, the zombies are created by a powder that's called zombie powder, and that actually in Haiti they believe it kills the people and they bury them. And they remain in the grave for up to 3 days, but in actual fact they've been totally sedated by the most poisonous nerve poison known to man called tetrodotoxin. And at the end of that period, the Bokor comes, that's the person who created the zombie, opens the grave, takes the person out, gives them a hell of a beating to prevent their soul from entering again because he thinks he's killed them. In actual fact, they're sedated. And then he gives them another mind-killing psychoactive poison called Datura, and from that moment on he has control of them.
But how can they live for 3 days, though?
Some of them die, but their metabolism is so low, Bert, that they hardly need any air or oxygen at all, and they live in the grave. They are totally immobile, they have been pronounced dead by a doctor, and yet we have at least 11 authentic cases of people coming back. Their death certificates have been examined, they're quite true. And this is an incredible poison called tetrodotoxin, and it relates to a marine biologist because fish have it in their skins.
All fish?
No, only special fish. We have them in Victoria. These puffer fish have it. And these little toadies that people throw around on the piers, people catch on the piers, and I don't know whether you can see those very clearly, but they are the common little toadfish that we catch off the Port Melbourne piers, etc. That's why it's such a dangerous fish to eat. It actually has it in its skin.
Is this related to... I heard somebody on radio recently talking about Japanese restaurants that have to be licensed to serve a fish which is basically poisonous.
It's exactly the same poison.
And even when it doesn't do any ill to you, if it's worked correctly in the restaurant, you get a tingling sensation around the lips and a tingling sensation in your fingers.
That's right. And
why would you eat it in the first place?
Well, you go into a euphoric state, so it's like a drug.
I see.
And some people do die. They lose 50 people a year in Japan from fugu poisoning.
Stupid fools.
And they pay $10,000 a meal for it. And they lost their top actor 2 years ago to it. Two chaps died from it. 2 gamblers died. Japanese gamblers died. They sent one home to be buried quickly. The other one had to be stored for 8 days to be sent to his home village, and he woke up on the 6th day. And he had been too, once again, if you like, turned into a zombie, but he had time to wake up. And the Japanese know nothing about zombification. So that was an authentic case. The other one, they believe, was buried alive. He was probably still alive. When you are poisoned by tetrodotoxin, probably the worst thing is that you are completely conscious. The victims know exactly what is happening to them. They are put into the grave is closed up, the dirt is put on top, and they're laying there conscious.
But you've got no control over
No control whatsoever. Their heart has almost stopped.
But you mentioned before, then they have the people who've done this to the zombies,
yes.
they then have control over them.
Because they give them another drug which destroys their mind. It's called the zombie cucumber, and they give them a paste, and that destroys their mind, and then they take them well away from there and they sell them into slavery. Now, the way we know about this is that some of them eventually didn't have their mind destroyed and they made their way back. And this was only discovered in 1982.
So, and the main reason is simply for the slave trade?
It's much more than that. It's actually, they only turn people who are nasty into zombies. If you're an unpopular person in the village, then somebody may pay the Bokor to zombify you. So it's not just a slave trade thing. You have to sort of be a nasty person. The Haitians are dead scared that their wives and that people they love will be turned into zombies because they're not frightened of zombies, they're frightened of becoming zombies. So when their wives and husbands die, they pay to have their jugular veins opened, their throats slit or decapitated, or a knife plunged into the heart of the cadaver, just to make sure the person is dead and won't end up as a zombie. And that still goes on today. It's written in my will, Bert.
Is it really?
I want to have my throat cut or something happen to me.
Well, just to make sure you're not buried alive?
Make sure I'm not buried alive.
But surely there are other ways of doing that, aren't there?
I think these days with modern medicine in a Melbourne hospital they'd be pretty sure, but in some remote parts of the world, and I visit a lot of those, if I died I'm not sure that I would be dead.
I suppose that's something that we all have nightmares about, isn't it?
Oh,
being
horrific.
buried alive. I defy anyone not to have gone through that nightmare at some stage, whether it be a legitimate nightmare while you're sleeping or something that you just conjure up in your mind, you know, during the day.
Horrific. And these people are totally alert. I mean, as the dirt's falling in, they're hearing it. They know what's going on.
I think we've gone far enough. I think I might be ill if you go any further. Reg, what is the powder? Oh, incidentally, we should mention too, by the way, of course, in any segment like this, if you believe that you're married to a zombie or you know a zombie or whatever, I mean, see your doctor before you do anything about it. What does the powder look like?
The powder is just a white powder. It looks just like that, Bert. It's absorbed through the feet, through the skin. It can be rubbed into a wound, or they simply... The Bocor just makes a mat of it. He paints a cross in front of your house and you walk out of your house in bare feet, a wound on your feet, and that's it. You're dead.
Smell?
Don't smell too deep, Bert. Yeah. My God, he's gone. Perhaps I better take over for a few minutes.
That's not the real stuff, is it? As a matter of fact, I was going to say, be very careful because it smells just like Johnson's baby powder. Is that what it is? Oh, I thought it was the real stuff for a second.
I couldn't get the real powder.
Good on you, Reg. Well, it's lovely talking to you, and that's a fascinating subject. So, for goodness sake, whatever you do, be careful of the fish that you pull in from the bay, and don't forget it's a drug too. So, if you've got a very understanding fish and chip man, just go in and say, 2 flake, and 20 cents worth of you know what. Thanks a lot, Reg.
Thank you.
Reg Lipson, ladies and gentlemen. My next guest is a young bloke who's invented a way to beat train strikes and those peak hour snarls. Will you please welcome Gavin McCarthy? Gavin McCarthy, ladies and gentlemen. I don't need this. Don't need it. There you go, Pete. For God's sake, catch it. Good. Oh, well done. Welcome to the show, Gavin.
Thank you.
You're only a young bloke. How old are you?
20.
Good on you. And what exactly have you invented?
Known as the bi-skate. Something I thought up and designed as my own invention.
For a bit of fun?
Yeah.
And I suppose also, too, it would be a great way of getting to work and going to school and so forth. What have you... So, actually, how does it operate?
Well, just normal, like skating, and the brakes are on the back wheel. They're just like handbrakes.
And how do you get your mobility? Just as
It's
you
like
were...
skating.
Yeah?
Like normal skating.
Terrific.
Get you going.
And are you going to manufacture these?
I hope to, yes.
Any interest so far from any of the big manufacturers?
I've sort of had someone ring me a couple of nights now, want to get into business
Well,
making.
I think that's terrific. I mean, you hear so much these days about young people not really wanting to work and not really sort of interested in making a couple of bob for themselves, and you show this tremendous interest in something which is brand new. Let's just see it again, will you?
No worries.
Just go around for us, Gavin. There we go. Can you go any faster? Too small an area. So you want a larger studio next time you come and Gavin. Okay, we'll do our best for it. Well, good luck with it. It was great to see you on the show, and I hope you sell 1 million of them.
Thank you very much.
Gavin McCarthy. And we're back with you after this break. Thanks a lot, mate. Can I remind you on tomorrow's show, quite a lineup. On tomorrow's show, Pat Farrer, Debbie Byrne, John Dieterich, Normie Rowe and Olivia Newton-John is going to join us tomorrow, so it'll be a super show. But for you watching today, we have a delight for you to meet right now. Somebody, I guess a lot of us grew up with her on Bandstand and various other shows around Australia, Patsy Ann Noble. She is now the equally delightful Trish Noble. Please welcome her, Trish Noble. Welcome, Trish. It's lovely to see you again.
Thank you, Bert. You look so well.
I feel terrific, and you look great too.
Thank you.
Right from the kick-off, many, many years ago, not many years ago, not all that long ago, actually, I went on a blind double date with you, didn't I?
Here we go.
But I didn't get Trish, I got Lana Cantrell. I finished up with Lana
I
Cantrell.
don't know who I was with, but...
Wonderful announcer
a
called
long time
Jeff
ago.
Hiscock. Very
Oh,
nice
was
man, very
I?
handsome man, yeah.
Oh.
Trish, the important thing is now no longer Patsy Ann Noble, that is in the past. But
Yes.
so many things have happened since those bandstand days. I
Oh,
mean, you
they
really
sure have,
You've done
yes.
so much.
Yes, it was away a long time, you know. 22 years I was gone.
What was the main motivation for going to overseas, first up?
Well, my mother was managing my career here, and she sort of felt that I'd gone as far as I could go here. And at that time, particularly, you had to go overseas. You did your shows here and your stage shows, and I won the first Logie for the Best Australian Singer.
That's right.
And after winning the Logie and doing all those things, there was not much else to do, so I had to really go and further my career. Plus, the press pushed me out of Australia
In what way?
a bit tough in those days. They're much kinder these days.
What did they say and do about you?
Well, it was like, we think you're okay, but you can only prove yourself overseas. I think that's a shame that it happened then, because I'd like to have stayed in Australia, really.
You went to England first, didn't you, and then to America.
To America.
You're talking about your parents before, of course. You were steeped in show business tradition.
Yes.
Your father, the wonderful Buster Noble, and also your mum, Helen DePaul, of the Flying DePauls. And matter of fact, I think we've got a shot here of you in a pantomime with your mum and your dad.
Oh, yes. I was 15 there.
So they'd love to
And
see that.
my dad playing Dame and Mum playing Principal Boy. She was a wonderful producer and choreographer. She's still teaching. She's a fantastic teacher.
And actually, as I say, I mean, just absolutely steeped in show business tradition. So England or America, which did you enjoy most, Trish?
Definitely America, because there I was able to concentrate on my acting career, and that gave me great pleasure. I adored it. I mean, you're happy where you're successful, and I was very successful there, so naturally I was in seventh heaven, doing what I really wanted to do.
You work with big names like Liberace.
Liberace, yes. He was a delight to work with. What a lovely person.
What sort of feeling is there now about Liberace in America? I think it's so sad. Liberace, Rock Hudson, revered by people all around the world, and now there's just, I don't know, there's a zonk feeling when their name is
Absolutely.
mentioned.
I worked with Rock also a couple of times, and he was also a fabulous man to work with. I think it's terrible that the publicity had to come out. Who cares? You know, we all have to go one day. It doesn't matter. They were such brilliant people in their business, and I think they deserve all the respect that we can give them.
Of course, something else which came out of the whole situation with Liberace and Rock Hudson, because they were famous names,
Yes.
it did bring an awareness to AIDS, which wouldn't have happened. Unfortunately, it had to be them, but those famous names all of a sudden brought this disease to the
Yes.
forefront.
I think it's still a shame that the press made such a circus out of it.
All the trashy stories,
But the
anyway.
awareness was important, you're right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Trish, you used to be famous for wearing some lovely costumes too.
I?
Well, there's... Have a look at that.
Oh, that was Las Vegas. That was the most covered costume I wore in that show, actually, in Las
The
Vegas.
most covered one, wasn't it? You and Delilah should get together.
The boys used to come and sort of rip stuff off, and there'd be something else underneath, and I'd go into the next number. You know, it was one of those sort of things. Yeah.
What about Vegas? Do you like playing that?
It was wonderful. We had an 8-week contract, and the show ran 6 months, so that was an enormous success. That was at this famous Sands Hotel. That was a big thrill. Sammy Davis used to come and see our shows, and Jack Jones and those sort of people.
Acting with people like Robert Stack, did you sometimes have to pinch yourself and say, this is really me and this is happening to me?
I really did. The first time I met him was the first read-through of the series that we were to do called Strike Force for Aaron Spelling Productions. And I walked into the room, and there he is sitting there, and I thought, oh my God, the Untouchables and everything. But he's the most delightful man. He's so stoic on camera. And then when the camera's off him, he sends himself up gutless all the time. He's the most gorgeous man to work with. The sense of humour is fantastic. So it's always a cut-up with him.
Trish, you no longer sing and you don't act. You're now a businesswoman or business person. Tell us about this water, George.
Well, I came back to Australia where I couldn't find any bottled water. All I could find was mineral water. And I'd been drinking pretty well cleaned up water in the States, and I thought, I've got to do something about this, because I, for one, am not going to start drinking mineral waters with all the salts and sulfates and all the other stuff that they've got in them. So my husband, who's a pharmaceutical scientist, was working with pretty well cleaned up water at the time, and I tasted it. It was much better than tap water.
I'll pour some?
Yes, go ahead, please. And that was the starting point. I thought, well, the challenge is to make absolutely pure water, not just pure water, but in absolutely pure and in a volume that's large enough to be affordable for everybody to buy. And it's a wonderful thing to do for your health.
Where's this from?
This is catchment water that goes through 16 separate and very extensive and complex filtration stages. We use no chemicals. It's all filtrated.
It really is lovely. I mean, that's water how it used to be.
It's just H2O. It's the most beautiful water.
Great.
I mean, if you know anything about the resistivity of pure water, it's the purest you can get. The measurement is 18.3
What's that word again, by the way?
Resistivity.
What's that mean?
You see, pure water resists electrical current, whereas tap water conducts it. So, and the signature for absolutely pure water is 18.3 megohms, and that's what we make. So it's been a heck of a challenge for us to do it. That's why it's taken me so long.
It's a lovely drink. I mean, I think
Thank
perhaps
you.
on the weekends I still might try and sneak in an Abbott's occasionally, but that is lovely, pure water. Do you miss singing and performing?
Well, I think it's fortunate that I don't really have the sort of ego that needs to be out there performing.
And you've also done it, haven't you? Been there, done that, as they say in the classics.
Yes.
Lovely seeing you again, Trish.
Lovely to see you, Bert.
Good luck to you, and particularly good luck with your water.
Thank you very
I hope
much.
you sell millions and millions of gallons, and it was just wonderful seeing you again.
Thank you, Bert. Thank
Trish
you,
Noble.
everyone.
A lovely lady. Here's another lovely lady for you too, PJ Becker. PJ's been on the show a couple of times. She works for a band called Entourage. Today she's with our Ross Burton big band. The song is Your Love Still Brings Me to My Knees. Here's PJ Becker.
Your love still brings me to my knees. From day to day you fill my needs. The wind that burns within my heart will never die. No, no. I'm blessed the day you came along. You turned my life into a song. There is no greater love there will never be. You're the only one. Every night, every day, from day to day, I love you, baby. Your love still brings me. Your love is killing me. Now I never knew what love was all about. You came along and gave me a reason to stand up and shine. I love you, yes I do. Your love still brings me to my knees. From day to day you fill my needs. There is no greater love there will never be. You're the only one. Your love still brings me to my knees. From day to day you're the one I've got to use. Your love still brings me. I got to have it. Your love is killing me. Yes, you gotta give it to me. Your love still brings me. Hey, your love is
Thank you, PJ Becker. And Your Love Still Brings Me to My Knees. Your knees, his knees, her knees. I'll have a little sip of my Puro. And that's our show for today. Hope you've enjoyed the program. More to go? But it's 1 o'clock. We've got to go. Oh, gosh. I forgot for a moment. We now have an extra half hour, so we'll see you after this break. We've also got more commercials, too. Welcome back. The boys are just sending me up, actually. My personal cameraman, Jack, and Peter O'Connor, my floor manager, were just saying, is that true about the blind date with Trish Noble and Lana Cantrell? It is a very true story. And I got Lana, and she turned out to be a wonderful friend over the years too, so I sort of got a pretty good deal. But I thought it was Trish that I was going to be with, and I wasn't. Anyway, Lana let me try on a gear, and it was terrific. All the leather stuff, wonderful. Our next guest has a very simple message. Nothing is impossible if we believe in ourselves. Strange thing, that's what I said to Lana all those years ago. Here's the living proof of positive thinking. Please welcome Gary Schuler. Now, obviously you believe a good, firm relationship begins with a nice, firm handshake. You've just almost taken my hand off there, Gary. Is that part of the drive and the need to associate and be able to communicate with people?
Well, now, I've always had a good handshake, Bert, and I just thought you'd want me to greet you that way.
Indeed, indeed. I think it's a great thing, because I loathe weak, pithy handshakes, and probably you feel the same way.
Absolutely.
Gary, let me ask you, I'm told that your background has not always necessarily... It doesn't show what you are today. You've had a pretty rugged time early in your life.
I wouldn't say so much rugged, but at the age of 19, I lost my left eye in a very serious car crash. Then a few months after that, my dad committed suicide. Then a few months after that, I got divorced. But as I always say, apart from that, it was a good year, you see, Bert. And it was at that stage in my life that I sat back in a hospital feeling quite sorry for myself. And the nurse, she looked at me, she said, "What's your problem?" I said, "Well, how would you feel if you were in my position?" And she looked at me, she said, "Lucky." I said, "Well, that's an interesting philosophy. Why would you say that?" She said, "Gary, maybe you should concentrate on what you've got left and forget about what you've lost." When you think about it, Bert, that's very true. So many people dwell on the negatives and they don't look for the positives. And that's really what I'm all about, looking for the opportunities and dwelling on them.
Up until that accident, what were you doing with your life?
I'd been a young salesperson in England, very successful, and I'd really learned a lot about handling people and dealing with people on a communication basis. But then I realised that wasn't really all. It wasn't all about that. It was about understanding and recognising other people and helping them achieve what they want first. See, too often nowadays people are so busy worrying about what they're going to get out of their lives, they don't put the other person first.
Gary, I think one of the problems is that we hear from so many people, particularly from America, from psychologists and people who are into this business motivation area, that you've got to think positively. Now, it's all very well to give advice, but the important thing is how do you attain it? How do you get that feeling? How do you think positive? How do you keep those right thoughts in your mind and don't fall for the negatives?
I think you've got two choices in life. Things are going to happen anyway, and you've got two ways to look at it. Either you can dwell on it and say, "Man, my life's been destined for gloom," or you can say, "Hey, what is the opportunity?" I'll give you an example. Twice in my life I achieved my goal. My first goal I achieved at the age of 6 when I'm hurtling down the road on my very first bicycle. As I'm going down the road, I see a brick, and I'm thinking, "Man, I'm going to hit that brick, I'm going to hit that brick," and man, I hit it full on. I had a crossbar. I knew what manhood was at the age of 6, let me tell you that right now. And then second time in my life, 13 years later, I was in a big car crash. I'm going toward the car and thinking, "I'm going to hit that car, I'm going to hit that car," and I did. See, both times I set out to hit the brick and the car, and I did. And I wonder now, if only I'd thought, move to the left or move to the right, I could have avoided this thing. See, really what I'm saying, Bert, is if you see something and you see it as a negative thing, and you see it as an obstacle, if you think about it enough, that's what it becomes. However, how can you maybe create in your mind, okay, here's an obstacle, here's a circumstance, what can I do to avoid this, or what can I do to make this a bit better? So it's really adopting a good attitude.
Do you still feel you're a salesman?
Absolutely. I mean, basically, I believe everybody's a salesperson, a communicator. You know, I mean, we communicate. I'll give you a good example. I mean, you take young tellers in banks and you take school children. They all have to ask questions. They all have to negotiate and communicate, and that's selling.
Well, what are you selling at the moment?
Well, I've always been selling myself, but I've become a fairly well-known public speaker, an author, and recently I've just launched a new cassette called Dynamic Metamorphosis. And what that's about is helping children realise their potential. See, at the age of 7 or 8, you get told by your parents, "Well, man, I'm a negative person." And the parents keep saying, "Yeah, you're going to be a failure in life. You're going to be a failure if you don't get your maths and your English situation." And the more you get told that, the more you become that.
Can I ask you, did you set up that cassette precisely where it is on the table there?
No, it's just circumstantial.
No, I think that is one. I mean, you know television too, because I wondered why you put it up there. And of course, I mean, you've then just got to take a shot of it. So you've got a nice little plug in there. On the up there for thinking, eh? Yeah. I want to ask you, Gary, when you're addressing people about positive thinking and about the ability that we all have, but we don't always use the ability given to us, what sort of reaction do you get? Is it a few of the meetings that I've been to of that nature, after dinner speakers who speak in your mode?
Right.
I feel it's Sunday morning television with those, and strange to say your surname is Schuller, the same as the man that I'm referring to, but they're really selling something. You get carried away with what's being said, then all of a sudden it wears off a couple of hours later.
I understand what you're saying. You're absolutely right. I'm not an evangelist. Let me just qualify that. I'm a very basic man from the East End of England, and basically I've understood one thing, that if you want to be successful in life, you've got to adopt a good attitude. And interestingly enough, I talk about the very first time as children we climb that tree, and we climb with excitement. We get to the tree and we've conquered the world. Then we come back down. It's then our parents run out and say, "Hey, did you realise all the dangers attached to climbing that tree?" You see, as children, we don't have any fear. And I discovered that it's when you get told as you grow older that it can't be done, it's not possible, that's what you become. So what I'm about is just a very basic man who gets up and says, "Hey, look at me. If I can be successful, so can anyone else, because there's nothing extraordinary about me."
Just briefly, Gary, what's your next goal and how will you achieve it?
My next goal is already being achieved, is to become one of the greatest public speakers in the world. And the reason I realised I could achieve that is at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what other people think. It's only a perception.
So you believe yourself to be one of the greatest public speakers in the world?
It's my perception. You see, if I were to say to you who the greatest band in the world is, you might say the Beatles or the Rolling Stones, but then we might have the audience say otherwise. In other words, at the end of the day, it's how you see yourself that's important and not how other people see you.
Why?
Because at the end of the day, it's your attitude. You see, if you allow other people to influence the way you feel...
Yeah, but you can have a very lonely life knowing that you're the best public speaker in the world, but no one's coming to hear you speak. Or,
Absolutely good point.
Lying there on your bed. I mean, I think personally I've got quite a nice singing voice, but the people who work on the show feel otherwise. But there's no sense in me just lying in bed watching a statue turn round saying I can sing, you know. Do you know what I mean? I mean, you've got to convince other people too.
I think you use the word convince. I don't believe you should convince, because that's like the evangelism. You know, praise the Lord and let's all get together. I mean, really what I'm about is coming up with a very simple message, and it's interesting. I would suggest that 80 and 90% of our audience are always pleased when they walk away, because they say, man, if this guy can do it, so can I. So what you do is you give them back their own self-image. They walk away and they say, well, look, this guy can do it, so can I. So we're getting big audiences now because people realise that there's nothing glossed about us.
And also you're one of the best in the world.
So I said.
Yeah. OK, that's right. I've heard it somewhere. OK, Gary, well, I'll tell you what, I'll get your home number, and late one Friday night I'll give you a ring, because late on Friday nights I become the best television compere in the world. Now, we can compare notes. Gary Schuller, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to meet you. And we're back with you after this break, and we talk about Diabetes Week. Thank you. Welcome back. Well, what did you think of Gary Schuller? Gary Schuller, interesting man, eh? One of the world's greatest speakers, so he said, and also a good salesman, so he said, but I got the better of him. When I bought this from him, his cassette, I got the cut price. $15.35, is that okay? And I've signed a little contract which gives me one of these cassettes, I think, every month for the next 15 years, which is okay. Oh, incidentally, speaking of selling things, don't forget, if you're going to any trash or treasure markets, let's have a look for the Bert and Paddy Family album, much lower than $5.99. This week is Diabetes Week. I'm not too sure whether you've had the same experience as I, but years ago I just thought diabetes was something which unfortunately you had and you were stuck with it for the rest of your life, and there wasn't much you could do about it. Fortunately, we know much more now, and as it's Diabetes Week, I thought it might be interesting to pass on even more to you. Please welcome Dr. John Court, Veronica Walsh, and from the Richmond Football Club, champion footballer Dale Waitman. Welcome to the show, and I think with the exception of Dr. John, you're not a diabetic, are you?
No.
But of course an expert in that field. I mentioned before that we were really very ignorant of diabetes until a couple of years ago. Is it a fair thing to say now that we know more about it and there's more public acceptance of it?
We know an enormous amount more now, of course, but we still don't have a cure, so there's a lot more to learn. But I think the public are aware of the fact that there are so many people who've got diabetes. It's not a rare disorder. It's really pervades the whole community. And
what is it, Doctor? What is diabetes?
Well, there are certainly two forms of diabetes, but basically the end result is that a person with diabetes can't handle sugar properly. It builds up in the blood and causes illness.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a sort that young people get, children particularly, but young adults, in which the body can't make insulin, and that's the sort that Veronica, for instance, has. And there's the sort that the majority of older people get, in which the insulin doesn't work properly, but the end result's the same.
How old are you, Veronica?
I'm 14.
14. And how long have you known that you've had diabetes?
I've had it since I was 3, so I've had it for 11 years.
And insulin all of that time?
Yes.
What about the camp that you're going on? This sounds very interesting. Tell us something about that.
Well, we're going to Japan. It's a little island in the south of Japan. There's 5 Australian diabetics going, or teenagers. There's about 60 there's 60 people from all around the world going.
What will happen there? What's the reason for the camp?
Well, I'm not really sure of the reason.
What's the reason, Doctor? Do you know?
We've had much more experience with youth camping in this country than anywhere in Asia. And in fact, in Japan, diabetes in children is the least common in anywhere in the world. so that in fact we hope that our teenagers have got something to teach people from Japan, from Korea, from China, from the Philippines, and from a number of other Southeast Asian countries.
Well, Veronica, I can tell you that you've got a job to do over at that camp. You're going to be very, very busy.
Yeah.
To Dale Waitman, great rover for the Richmond Football Club, and also invariably pulls out a great game in the interstate matches. Yesterday played Hawthorn. At one stage of the game, looks as though your team was going to get up, Dale. In your football career, being a diabetic, has it worked against you?
Well, it's funny, Bert. I suppose I've been playing league footy now for 12 years, and 6 of those years have been a diabetic. So I've had 6 years without being a diabetic, and 6 years with being one. And the first six years, I won the best first-year player at Richmond. I'd played in the premiership side. I'd played about 100 games. Since I've been a diabetic, I've played another about 120 games. Played for my state, captained my state, and won 2 best and firsts at Richmond. So really, it probably hasn't affected me that much. The fact is that what it is, I wanted to play the sport, and with the diabetes, there's a lot of things I had to do to get it going properly.
Mm-hmm. What sort of things?
Oh, with your diet and everything, you eat one thing. When I was younger, I suppose you eat a lot of junk food, and you have late nights and that. And I had to cut that down, and eating all the right foods and so forth, and looking after myself. But
insulin every day?
Insulin twice a day, yeah, morning and night. Yeah, so
self-administered?
Yeah. Oh no.
Do you get sent up very much by other guys?
No, actually, because when I first got it, I was trying to different things, because you need to keep your sugar level fairly high when you're playing the sport. And I used to have lollies and that, and it was when you're running around, and I used to give them to all the trainers around the ground. So if I needed one, they'd come out and give it to me. Then in the end, I'd asked for one, they'd all eaten them all. Most of the game, they'd eaten all my lollies, so I had none.
John, how is it possible for people to get even more knowledge about diabetes? Because it does affect, I think the ratio is what, 1 in
well, amongst the population in general, it's about 2%, 2 or 3%.
Yeah, but I mean, a person's life can be affected by a loved one having diabetes.
Indeed, so that in fact most people know or have a relative with diabetes. There's a number of major organisations who are concerned with diabetes. Diabetes Australia, which is a national body and which is composed of both lay people as well as medical and professional groups. They're available in every state. But there's also, since we're talking about teenagers and young people, an organisation called Juvenile Diabetes Foundation of Australia, which is particularly directed towards young people and children.
Well, I know the week is always a very successful one, and there's no reason why it won't be in 1989. Have a terrific trip over to Japan, Veronica. If I can just broach something with you, Dale, very quickly on another subject. There's been headlines right around Australia today about a couple of incidents in the match yesterday, Hawthorn and Richmond. Obviously, we don't get into names and personalities, but I just want to, because you're a very fair player and a great player, but particularly I think the emphasis is kids can watch your style of football, learn from it, not only the skills of football, but also how one should approach a sport. What do you feel about the incidents which are creeping in to our great game?
Yeah, they were disappointing yesterday. There was 2 incidents that our players got carried off the ground. It was just, it was amazing. I just, the guy that hit one of the guys was just not in his character, so I don't really know really what happened. Mm-hmm. And I think it's the game itself is clean. It's just these little incidents that they're trying to cut out, and I think
have they always been there, or are they now being highlighted?
I think they are being highlighted, and it's one of those things. I think the media gets onto this type of thing and they jump it up, and footy's a physical game, and you get that's the way it should be played. It's but the one incident yesterday was probably a bit callous.
Right. Okay, Dale, good to see you, and all the best for the rest of the season. A young side there with Richmond, but I think a darn good future ahead too.
Yeah,
for you and Kevin and all the boys. Thanks a lot, Veronica, once again, and Dr. John, good luck to you too. Diabetes Week right throughout Australia, a chance for us to learn more about this disease. 2 very sharp gentlemen at centre stage now, the combining of 2 beaut talents, John St. Peters and Marty Rose, and Baby Grand.
For someone to hold.
And in my time, I wandered everywhere around this old world, Marty. She will always be there, any day, any hour. All it takes is a power in my hand. My baby grand's been good to me. Oh, yeah.
They said no one's gonna play this on the radio. No. They said melancholy blues was dead and gone.
But only songs like these, played in minor keys, keep those memories holding on.
I've come far from the life I strayed in.
You know, I got scars from those dives I played in.
Now I'm home and I'm weary,
and in my bones every dreary one-night stands. My baby grand,
oh, she's been good to me. Oh, yeah, ever since that day began.
my baby grand has been good to me.
Oh, it's been good to me.
John St. Peters and Marty Rose. Nice, nice, nice. There's more after this break. Jeannie is back with us. We've had some singers from the audience, as we do every day during the commercial breaks. And that leads me in beautifully, Jeannie, to ask you about Housewife Superstar.
But I am so excited! I am so excited! Darling, we are searching for a fabulous housewife superstar.
Do that again, please.
Somewhere in Australia!
Oh, Jeannie! Naughty,
I think
naughty.
I've really put you off the air. Behave, dress.
Yes.
No, darling, somewhere in Australia, but there is a wonderful, talented housewife. Darling, honestly, we don't want anyone professional. Someone, it might be yourself if you're looking, someone in the audience here, or your best friend. You can whistle, you can play the cane, play the spoons, anything at all, but you have to write in.
Yes, this is the address. Housewife Superstar, Bert Newton Show, Channel 7, Post Office Box 407, South Melbourne, Vic 3205. You're not going to
I think I'll do it sideways instead.
Jenny, thanks for being with us.
It's been fabulous.
Sit down if you can, and just keep doing that, will
everybody write
you?
in because this is going to be...
That's it. On tomorrow's show, Olivia Newton-John, Pat Farah, Debbie Byrne, John Dietrich and Normie Rowe, and also the designer of the... You designed that, did you?
Yes, no, I did, sweetheart. Who else would do it,
I wonder how I picked that. OK, Jeannie, goodbye, everybody. Thanks for being on the show today, and we'll see you at 12 noon again tomorrow. Goodbye, and God bless you.
When in Melbourne, our guests stay at the Hilton on the Park. This has been a Jim McKay production for the Australian Television Network.